Question 1. What color are the reflective studs along the left-hand edge of the motorway? C. Red. Reflective studs are used to help you in poor visibility. Different colors are used so that you'll know which lane you're in. These are red on the left-hand edge of the carriageway. White, between lanes. Amber, on the right-hand edge of the carriageway. Green, between the carriageway and slip roads.
If you want to pass dvsa theory test in first time, you can download our EOS app. App contains 2500 dvsa test questions, 250 hazard perception videos, 630 traffic road signs and 300 highway code rules. Even 98.50% people pass their test first time after using our app. You can find link in the description. Download app for free from App Store, which contains latest 2024 material licensed by dvsa authority. Get 3 days free trial for a limited time. Let's get back to the video.
Question 2. You're in the left-hand lane at traffic lights, waiting to turn left. Which signal means you must wait? A. At some junctions, there may be separate signals for different lanes. These are called filter lights. They are designed to help traffic flow at major junctions. Make sure that you're in the correct lane and proceed if the way is clear and the green light shows for your lane. Question 3. What should you do when you see an older person about to cross the road ahead? D. Be careful, they may misjudge your speed. Older people may have impaired hearing, vision, concentration, and judgment. They may also walk slowly and so could take a long time to cross the road. Question 4. What does a red traffic light mean? C. You must stop and wait behind the stop line. Whatever light is showing, you should know which light is going to appear next and be able to take appropriate action. For example, when amber is showing on its own, you'll know that red will appear next. This should give you ample time to anticipate and respond safely. Question 5. What does this sign mean? B. Two-way traffic crosses a one-way road. Be prepared for traffic approaching from junctions on either side of you. Try to avoid unnecessary changing of lanes just before the junction. Question 6. What does this sign mean? D. Pass either side to get to the same destination. These signs are often seen in one-way streets that have more than one lane. When you see this sign, use the route that's the most convenient and doesn't require a late change of direction. Question 7. Which sign shows that a tanker is carrying dangerous goods? B. Tankers will display a hazard warning plate on the side and rear of the vehicle. Details of hazard warning symbols are given in the highway code. If a tanker is involved in a collision, you may need to report the tanker's hazard labeling to the emergency services. Question 8. Tell me how you would check that the brakes are working before starting a journey. B. Brake pedal should feel firm, but not hard. The brake pedal should provide some resistance. It should not feel hard, like you're pushing against a wooden plank, and it also shouldn't go right to the floor. When you move off, check the brakes before you build up too much speed. Question 9. You're on a smart motorway. What does it mean if a red cross is showing above the hard shoulder and mandatory speed limits above all other lanes? B. The hard shoulder is for emergency or breakdown use only. A red cross above the hard shoulder shows that it's closed as a running lane and should only be used for emergencies or breakdowns. On a smart motorway, the hard shoulder may be used as a running lane at busy times. This will be shown by a mandatory speed limit on the gantry above the hard shoulder. Question 10. You're approaching a crossroads. What should you do if the traffic lights have failed? D. Be prepared to stop for any traffic. When approaching a junction where the traffic lights have failed, you should proceed with caution. Treat the situation as an unmarked junction and be prepared to stop. Question 11. You're driving on a wet road. What should you do if you have to stop your vehicle in an emergency? B. Keep both hands on the steering wheel. As you drive, look well ahead and all around so that you're ready for any hazards that might develop. If you have to stop in an emergency, react as soon as you can while keeping control of the vehicle. Keep both hands on the steering wheel so you can control the vehicle's direction of travel. Question 12. In order to supervise a learner driver, you need to have held a full driving license for the same category of vehicle for at least 3 years. What other requirement must you meet? B. To be at least 21 years old. Learner drivers benefit by combining professional driving lessons with private practice. However, you need to be at least 21 years old and have held your driving license for at least 3 years before you can supervise a learner driver. Question 13. What's the purpose of a catalytic converter? C. To reduce harmful exhaust gases. Catalytic converters reduce a large percentage of harmful exhaust emissions. They work more efficiently when the engine has reached its normal working temperature. Question 14. What would be affected if you carry a very heavy load on your vehicle? C. The vehicle's handling. Any load will have an effect on the handling of your vehicle, and this becomes worse as you increase the load. You need to be aware of this when carrying passengers or heavy loads, fitting a roof rack or towing a trailer. Question 15. You've been involved in an argument that's made you feel angry. What should you do before starting your journey? D. Calm down. If you're feeling upset or angry, you'll find it much more difficult to concentrate on your driving. You should wait until you've calmed down before starting a journey. Question 16. Tell me how you would check the tires to ensure that they have sufficient tread depth and that their general condition is safe to use on the road. A. Check there are no cuts and bulges. Check the sidewalls and tread for cuts and bulges. You may have to turn your wheels outwards to do this. Check you have at least 1.6 mm tread depth using a gauge. Question 17. Which vehicle will use a blue flashing beacon? B. Bomb disposal. Emergency vehicles use blue flashing lights. If you see or hear one, move out of its way as soon as it's safe and legal to do so. Question 18. Where should you take particular care to look for motorcyclists and cyclists? B. At junctions. Motorcyclists and cyclists are often more difficult to see at junctions. They're easily hidden from view and you may not be able to see them approaching a junction if your view is partially blocked, for example, by other traffic. Question 19. You're following a long vehicle as it approaches a crossroads. What should you do if it signals left but moves out to the right? B. Stay well back and give it room. A long vehicle may need to swing out in the opposite direction as it approaches a turn, to allow the rear wheels to clear the curb. Don't try to filter through if you see a gap. As the lorry turns, the gap will close. Question 20. What does this sign mean? C. Minimum speed 30 miles per hour. This sign is shown where slow-moving vehicles would impede the flow of traffic, for example, in tunnels. However, if you need to slow down or even stop to avoid an incident or potential collision, you should do so. Question 21. You're following a large vehicle as it approaches a crossroads. What should you do if the driver signals to turn left? D. Wait for the vehicle to finish turning. Hold back and wait until the vehicle has turned before proceeding. Don't overtake, because the vehicle turning left could hide another vehicle emerging from the same junction. Question 22. You're traveling in very heavy rain. How is this likely to affect your overall stopping distance? A. It will be doubled. The road will be very wet and spray from other vehicles will reduce your visibility. Tire grip will also be reduced, increasing your stopping distance. You should at least double your separation distance to make sure you can stop safely in the space you've allowed. Question 23. What would you do if you see older people crossing the road ahead? B. Be patient and allow them to cross in their own time. Be aware that older people might take a long time to cross the road. They might also be hard of hearing and not hear you approaching. Don't hurry older people across the road by getting too close to them or revving your engine. Question 24. What should you do if the red lights start flashing as you approach a level crossing? C. Stop before the barrier. At level crossings, the red lights flash before and while the barrier is down. At most crossings, an amber light will precede the red lights. You must stop behind the white line unless you've already crossed it when the amber light comes on. Don't be tempted to zigzag around half barriers. Question 25. What can people who live or work in towns and cities do to help reduce urban pollution levels? C. Walk or cycle. Using a vehicle for short journeys means the engine doesn't have time to reach its normal operating temperature. When an engine is running below its normal operating temperature, it produces increased amounts of pollution. Walking and cycling don't create pollution and have health benefits as well. Question 26. Why is it particularly important to check your vehicle before making a long motorway journey? D. Continuous high speeds increase the risk of your vehicle breaking down. Before you start your journey, make sure that your vehicle can cope with the demands of high-speed driving. You should check a number of things, the main ones being fuel, oil, water, and tires. You also need to plan rest stops if you're making a long journey. Question 27. You're on a smart motorway. What does it mean when a red cross is displayed above the hard shoulder? D. You must not travel in this lane. Some motorways have been redesigned as smart motorways. At certain times, the hard shoulder will be open as a running lane. However, a red cross above the hard shoulder shows that it isn't open as a running lane and should only be used for emergencies and breakdowns. Question 28. You're going to turn left from a main road into a minor road. What should you do as you approach the junction? D. Keep well to the left of the road. Your road position can help other road users to anticipate your actions. Keep to the left as you approach a left turn and don't swing out into the center of the road in order to make the turn easier. This could endanger oncoming traffic and may cause other road users to misunderstand your intentions. Question 29. What could cause you to crash if the level is allowed to get too low? B. Brake fluid level. You should carry out frequent checks on all fluid levels, but particularly brake fluid. As the brake pads or shoes wear down, the brake fluid level will drop. If it drops below the minimum mark on the fluid reservoir, air could enter the hydraulic system and lead to a loss of braking efficiency or even complete brake failure. Question 30. What legal requirement must be met by a newly qualified driver? D. They must have valid motor insurance. It's your responsibility to make sure you're properly insured for the vehicle you're driving. This is the case regardless of whether you're a newly qualified driver or one with more experience. Question 31. Why should you allow extra room while overtaking a motorcyclist on a windy day? B. The rider may be blown in front of you. If you're driving in high winds, be aware that the conditions might make a motorcyclist, or cyclist, swerve or wobble. Take this into consideration if you're following or wish to overtake a two-wheeled vehicle. Question 32. You're driving on an open road in dry weather. What distance should you keep from the vehicle in front? A 2-second time gap. One way of checking there's a safe distance between you and the vehicle in front is to use the 2-second rule. To check for a 2-second time gap, choose a stationary object ahead, such as a bridge or road sign. When the car in front passes the object, say only a fool breaks the 2-second rule. If you reach the object before you finish saying the phrase, you're too close and need to increase the gap. Question 33. What could you do to help injured people at an incident? A. Keep them warm and comfortable. There are a number of things you can do to help, even without expert training. Be aware of further danger from other traffic and fire. Make sure the area is safe. People may be in shock. Don't give them anything to eat or drink. Keep them warm and comfortable and reassure them. Don't move injured people unless there's a risk of further danger. Question 34. You're waiting to emerge at a junction. Your view is restricted by parked vehicles. What can help you to see traffic on the road you're joining? B. Reflections of traffic in windows. You must be completely sure it's safe to emerge. Try to look for traffic through the windows of the parked cars or in the reflections in windows. Keep looking in all directions as you slowly edge forwards until you can see it's safe. Question 35. At an incident, how could you help a small child who isn't breathing? B. Open their airway and begin CPR. If a young child has stopped breathing, first check that their airway is open and then begin CPR. With a young child, you may only need to use one hand and you shouldn't press down as far as you would with an adult. Continue the procedure until the child is breathing again or until a medical professional takes over. Question 36. You're driving past a line of parked cars. What should you do if a ball bounces out into the road ahead? C. Slow down and be prepared to stop for children. Beware of children playing in the street and running out into the road. If a ball bounces out from the pavement, slow down and be prepared to stop. Don't encourage anyone to retrieve it. Other road users may not see your signal and you might lead a child into a dangerous situation. Question 37. How should you rejoin the motorway after a breakdown on the hard shoulder? A. Build up speed on the hard shoulder before looking for a safe gap in the traffic. To rejoin a motorway from the hard shoulder, you first need to build up speed on the hard shoulder. You can then look for a safe gap in the traffic in the left-hand lane. Watch for traffic that may be returning from a lane on the right into the left-hand lane. Question 38. What type of vehicle displays this yellow sign? B. A school bus. B. A school bus. Buses which carry children to and from school may stop at places other than scheduled bus stops. Be aware that they might pull over at any time to allow children to get on or off. This will normally be when traffic is heavy during rush hour. Question 39. How should you react to inexperienced drivers? B. Be patient and prepare for them to react more slowly. Learners might not have confidence when they first start to drive. Allow them plenty of room and don't react adversely to their hesitation. We all learn from experience, but new drivers will have had less practice in dealing with all the situations that might occur. Question 40. Your car requires an MOT certificate. When is it legal to drive it without an MOT certificate? D. When driving to an appointment at an MOT center. When a car is 3 years old, 4 years old in Northern Ireland, it must pass an MOT test and have a valid MOT certificate before it can be used on the road. Exceptionally, You may drive to a pre-arranged test appointment or to a garage for repairs required for the test drive vehicles that are more than 40 years old without an MOT test, but they must be in a roadworthy condition before being used on the road. See government.uk for more details. Question 41. When may you use hazard warning lights while you're driving? B. On a motorway or unrestricted dual carriageway, to warn of a hazard ahead. When there's queuing traffic ahead and you have to slow down or even stop, briefly showing your hazard warning lights will help alert the traffic behind to the hazard. Question 42. Why should these road markings be kept clear? D. To allow children to see and be seen when they're crossing the road. HE markings are there to show that the area should be kept clear. This is to allow an unrestricted view for approaching drivers and riders' children wanting to cross the road. Question 43. What color are the reflective studs between a motorway and a slip road? C. Green. The studs between the carriageway and the hard shoulder are normally red. These change to green where there's a slip road, helping you to identify slip roads when visibility is poor or when it's dark. Question 44. How will you benefit from following the manufacturer's service schedule for your vehicle? C. Your vehicle will remain reliable. All vehicles need to be serviced to keep working efficiently. An efficient engine uses less fuel and produces fewer harmful emissions than an engine that's running inefficiently. Keeping the vehicle serviced to the manufacturer's schedule should also keep it reliable and reduce the chance of it breaking down. Question 45. Where would it be unsafe to overtake? C. Approaching a junction. You should overtake only when it's really necessary and you can see it's clear ahead. Look out for road signs and markings that show it's illegal or would be unsafe to overtake, for example, approaching junctions or bends. In many cases, overtaking is unlikely to significantly improve your journey time. Question 46. You're the first person to arrive at an incident where people are badly injured. You've switched on your hazard warning lights and checked all engines are stopped. What else should you do? A. Make sure that an ambulance has been called. If you're the first to arrive at a crash scene, the first concerns are the risk of further collision and fire. Ensuring that vehicle engines are switched off will reduce the risk of fire. Use hazard warning lights so that other traffic knows there's a need for caution. Make sure the emergency services are contacted, don't assume it's already been done. Question 47. Why is a toucan crossing different from other crossings? D. Pedestrians and cyclists can use it together. Toucan crossings are shared by pedestrians and cyclists, who are permitted to cycle across. They are shown the green light together. The signals are push-button operated and there's no flashing amber phase. Question 48. You're driving a car fitted with automatic transmission. When would you use kickdown? B. To accelerate quickly. Kickdown selects a lower gear, enabling the vehicle to accelerate faster. Question 49. An adult casualty isn't breathing. To maintain circulation, CPR should be given. What's the correct depth to press down on their chest? B. 5 to 6 centimeters. An adult casualty isn't breathing normally. To maintain circulation, place 2 hands on the center of the chest. Then press down hard and fast, around 5 to 6 centimeters and about twice a second. Question 50. You're at the scene of an incident. How could you help someone who's suffering from shock? A. Reassure them confidently. If someone is suffering from shock, try to keep them warm and as comfortable as you can. Don't give them anything to eat or drink, but reassure them confidently and try not to leave them alone.
If you want to pass dvsa theory test in first time, you can download our EOS app. App contains 2500 dvsa test questions, 250 hazard perception videos, 630 traffic road signs and 300 highway code rules. Even 98.50% people pass their test first time after using our app. You can find link in the description. Download app for free from App Store, which contains latest 2024 material licensed by DVSA authority. Get 3 days free trial for a limited time.